Get them fired up and get them to the staging lanes, baby, because 8th Mile Apparel is now carrying Going Bracket Racing merch. Hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and much more can be yours today by visiting 8thmileapparel.com. We appreciate each and every one of you guys supporting the Going Bracket Racing YouTube and Facebook pages.
Casey and George here on episode 192 of the Going Bracket Racing Live podcast, May 6, 2025. See if we still remember how to do this. We skipped the last couple weeks, have been all kinds of technical difficulties. In fact, even today, I had no power the vast majority of today. So here we are again. George had motorhome issues. I had internet issues. Then I had power issues. Here we are on a cell phone hotspot. Hopefully everything works okay. Thanks to TSR Racing Products. They've been sending all kinds of stuff out to me, man. I've been working on transmissions, I feel like, for a month. So not the same one every single time, but one every single time, it seems like. So Power Glides, Turbo 350s, 400, 727 transmission parts. Hit up TSR Racing Products to fix the shims. Well, not fix the shims, give you some shims for the in-play issues that you may or may not have in your transmissions, like I've had several times lately. BRG 3D printed parts, anything you need, Brian Garrett will print that up for you. Get any kind of custom parts you need, any kind of things you need to lighten up your ride, anything you need to mount in your ride. Hit up Brian Garrett, BRG 3D printed parts, Syntex printing out there in Temple, Texas, for your stickers, shirts, brochures, all kinds of things that you need for your business. You go into one of them trade shows, you're going to need to hit up Syntex printing out there in Temple, Texas. Driven Racing Oil, GBR 10, get yourself 10% off of anything you order. They don't sell just oil, George. They sell all kinds of cleaning products. They sell transmission fluid. They sell pretty much anything that has to do with all that stuff that comes out of the ground. But you need to use GBR 10 to get yourself 10% off unlimited on your order. Thanks to the Going Bracket Racing Live podcast. Proform Parts, visit proformparts.com for your shop tools, carburetors, starters, alternators, radiators, accessories. All kinds of stuff over there at Proform Parts. They just came out with a 1050 Dominator. You can get you one of those now. Get one of those 4500 series Holley carburetors. Not Holley anymore. Proformparts.com. That's where you need to get it. Crew Chief Pro Software. Contact Don Higgins and get your ETs figured out. If you can't figure it out, if you're chasing your tail, you need to contact crewchiefpro.com and get you a copy of that Crew Chief Pro software, so that way you can get a little bug in your ear and figure out what you're going to run when your opponent doesn't know what he's going to run on, especially on those blind runs. And our newest partner over here at the Going Bracket Racing Live podcast. See, I don't even remember anymore. 192 episodes. You'd think I'd know our name, George. Gearhead Solutions. And let me tell you, Trevor over there, man, he's been doing all kinds of stuff for me lately. Everything I've been dealing with lately, I feel like has been going wrong, and Trevor's been correcting things for me. It's not his fault; it's the manufacturer's fault. But the funny thing is, I shipped out a set of tires today, got a new one in the mail today. So, ultimately, you wouldn't get that kind of customer service at those big box stores that we're all are used to dealing with. Gearhead Solutions. I know they're getting a new website over there. Give them a call if it's not up already. GearheadSolutions.com. Hit up Trevor. They got access to over 1,000 vendors. All the parts that you can get from those big box stores, you don't get the you better hope it's right, man. If you order from those big box stores, you better hope it's right. But Gearhead Solutions, you got his phone number personally. He will deal with it, and typically in a shorter time span than you're used to. So That's all I got to say, George. I think I covered it pretty much all. I don't remember. It's been like last month. I feel like it's been a month since we've done a show.
Test. Yeah, it's been a while, man. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It's a lot of technical stuff going on over here. Hopefully the stream over on the YouTube side's good. I'm getting an error. If you can see it on my laptop, this little yellow bar right here, you don't really want to see that ever, but everything seems to be running good. You guys are commenting to me in the chat there. Hopefully you can hear me fine. I see myself jumping on the meter, and I'm watching my internet jump up and down. So it just one of them crazy odd last couple of, let's just call it drag racing seasons thus far, Casey, because let's just take the first stop right there. You go through the week, rain, 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 rain. You go through the weekend, rain, 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 rain. I've seen, I don't know how many different events canceled this year, which is a little bit unorthodox compared to last year. Last year it seemed like everything went off pretty good, so I'm kind of ready for the rain to stop. Needless to say, Casey, man, I'm in here working in the house today, man, and I hear a loud, loud kaboom, and it's thunderstorming outside, man. But I'm a kid in heart, and I used to do this all the time as a kid. When you see lightning, you count 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. That's
Man,
that's from Bill Nye, the Science Guy.
man,
I was
listen.
watching that episode.
Hold on, man. Listen. So this particular time, I see the lightning flash, and I heard the boom at the same exact time. It was like lightning boom. I walk outside my neighbor's house across the street. Dude, lightning struck through it, busted the foundation, it busted the concrete. It lit a fire, so the fire department had to come with sledgehammers. The fire was inside of the house. And so they're busting out the concrete inside the house and everything, man. And needless to say, last year, right next door to me, this today was across the street, but right across the street. But last year, right next door, his house got hit by lightning. So this old saying that lightning doesn't strike in the same area twice, tell whoever said that they lying and then slap them in the head next time. Just give them one of them.
I'll tell you what, man, it's been some weird weather, that's for sure. I was just talking to one of my buddies from back home today, actually. He said, man, has it been really cold at your house lately? And I said, man, I live in North Carolina, so not really, but I also feel like it hasn't been as hot as it should be. In fact, yesterday, a massive storm came through, and it was like 60 degrees at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when I was going to get my boy from daycare. So, yeah, it's definitely been odd. But I can tell you right now, about a month from now, we're all going to be wishing
it's too hot
that we could even experience a 60-degree afternoon, because it's going to be 100 degrees any day now. But yeah, man, it is what it is. At least it's racing season. We haven't really got many rainouts out here lately. Hopefully I'm not jinxing everybody. Had a lot of good racing out here. Had a lot of mediocre forecasts, but everything seems to be getting done. So,
Yep.
I believe it's called K&R Promotions out there at Farmington. First big money bracket race that he's been a part of and put on, and I feel like it was pretty successful. Glad to see that happening.
Yeah, that's good stuff, and always good to see another promoter jump into the game, especially one that will wear you out. I'd rather see him on the promoter side of it than in the lane next to me. Let's just make that loud and clear right now. But all good news coming out of that camp over there, and good job to everybody involved. Didn't get a good chance to turn on that live stream. I know you had Motor Mania on the premises, but it's just been one. Like I said, guys, it's been a long couple of months for Team GBR as a whole. And then the stream as a whole. It's just been wacky. But congrats to all the winners. I think I saw Gary Williams got one taken care of. And not for sure who else might have won out there. But good job out there.
I know Jeff Serra got one of them also. And I believe a local, actually. It may be a Red Beretta. I feel like I've seen him. I can't remember his name, but I feel like I've seen him run that 490 series out here a lot. I might be thinking of it wrong, but again, I'm in the same position, man. I've been working on cars like crazy. If anybody wonders why you haven't seen me at the racetracks, because I'm constantly been working on cars ever since February, I feel like. So one day I'll get there. But dude, I don't know, man. What's new? What should we talk about? I don't know. I guess we can talk about whatever we want. What we want to talk about today.
Yeah, we can talk about whatever.
I don't hear you.
Um,
I don't hear
yeah, I know, man. You're cutting out just a little bit, but I can hear you every other word. Hopefully, you can still hear me. I'm chasing it down, but yeah, man, we could talk about a few things. You know, I did get a chance to take old Mo out a couple weeks back, and he was on a string, man. The car's good. That's all I got to tell you. So some of the changes that we made over the winter put the car in a pretty good spot. I'm just going to leave it at that. I wheeled him down to I think around 11 cars before I decided to be 7 red. Heck, up and before that point, I think I was maybe in a 3,000 spread zone, Casey. So I was on one of them zones that you've seen me get in every now and then on a Christmas tree, and then to go behind it, the race car was doing its thing. So, needless to say, we might be running that back this week. Yeah, man, being off a couple weeks, we got a lot we can touch on. Let's go to the spring fling though. I don't think we really got a chance to talk about Galat and how that race seemed to. One thing I want to mention first and foremost is the ability for Biondo and team and crew to continually try to raise the bar. This time it's going to be on the side of the live streaming setup where you actually got drone footage at a actual live streamed event. So I'm gonna take my hat off to the Spring Fling team. I know who's behind the keys out there to that team. I don't know if they want me mentioning that, but shouts out to everybody who's actually making it happen out there. Shouts out to the drone pilot, because I know there's more than just bring your drone and fly above $50,000 to $100,000 race car as they're moving 180 mile an hour down an eighth mile. Not everybody's actually moving that fast, so let's just back that down to like 160, right? But it takes a lot of guts to be able to do that. That stream was excellent. I enjoyed the coverage fully, as well as all of the announcers who showed up to do their thing, man. So that's the first place I want to start, Casey. What you got? As that one was seemingly in your backyard, as I saw old Blue out there.
Yeah, man, super cool. Always very tough competition out there at Galat Motorsports Park. Anytime you come to North Carolina, obviously, Virginia, South Carolina, anywhere in there, you know what you're in for. You're in for the best of the best. And then anybody who's coming from out of state is the best of the best too. They know that they are perfectly capable of winning as well. The Spring Fling Galat was the Corey Galletti show, as far as I'm concerned. Corey Galletti was going deep every single night, not necessarily in his own car. One time in a truck. And we were just talking a couple weeks ago about how, I don't know if we talked about this on the show or not, but we always were talking about, man, I just want to see Corey win in the truck. Well, he did everything he could to win in the truck. You can't go but one round further, you know, so he's showing his skill set as he always does. Anything he steps foot in, it seems like he's going to be a winner.
Maybe he heard us, Casey, you know. We talked about that and kind of the big differentiator between what we would consider, especially from the young gun side of things, Gage Birch versus Corey Galletti is the topic of, and this is opinion based, everybody, but it is the topic of the top 1-2 youngsters in a race car currently in our sport. And I feel like the great divide is going to be when one of them, Corey's already put his name kind of in the hat. That's the first big step for him to take the old door trucks rule down that far. I feel like that truck was running like 512, man. It's funny how our mind did that. That truck was fast, dude. So I don't know if Corey owns that truck, and I wouldn't put it past him. He probably does own it. I don't know, but good to see him in a door car, and always good to see him down deep. That's a Texas boy, so it is what Team Texas all day.
Yeah, man, it's I think that anybody can get it done in anything, and obviously, you know, our opinions are strictly that. They're just opinions, and it doesn't matter what we think. Gage and Corey, as far as I'm concerned, they're the new Scotty Richardsons of their generation.
Yep.
And I don't know how that's going to play out over the years of who's going to end up being on top right now. I feel like Gage has won more big races. I feel Corey has won more races.
Yeah.
So it's quantity, quality type thing.
Yep.
You know, I just feel like, I don't know. Gage,
Yep.
But the thing is also, they have the same thing. Corey's done it mostly all in dragsters. Gage has done it mostly all indoor cars. I don't know if I've ever seen Gage in a dragster. Now, Matt Gaddis did very good in a dragster in Vegas, and Matt Gaddis supplies a lot of rides for Gage. Maybe we'll see Gage in a dragster one of these days, because maybe Matt's getting that little itch of, hey man, it was pretty cool to go 150 mile an hour.
Yeah, man, that's good too. But again, it just adds what we need in this sport: a little bit of change up, a little bit of drama. Not a lot of people, maybe we will start seeing more people stay in the bleachers, because you generally see it on Motor Mania or on GBR live stream. Who's ever given some coverage there? That when the dragsters come up, oh man, here come dang yard darts. I'll be back in about 3 hours whenever the doors get back out here. Somebody to watch to bring a little bit more excitement to the old dragster class. Even though I don't leave the TV screen, I don't care who's up there. You see that in the chat all the time, so I know I'm not breaking any news to anyone that pays attention to our streaming services. So yeah, man, that's pretty neat. I think I want to see Gage Birch in a dragster. If I have to get him on this show to ask him to do so, I will do so. I'm sure he'll come back anyway. But I do want to point out one of the winners from the Spring Fling is yet again Casey, and something again we reported on a long time ago. If you've been watching GBR, you've even seen this Roblox racing craze live streamed on our channel. Well, the creator of Roblox Racing, RBRA is what the name of his is. I believe it's Roblox Racing Association. Stuck it in the winner circle for 50 grand at a Spring Fling event, man. And this is the creator of Roblox. So I'll do what I can to get Bobby on here with us. Bobby Murphy Jr., but he might be the third. Get him on here with us to kind of have an interview, talk at him, give him a little chance to let you guys meet him. Feel like he might work side by side with, I think Jeff Serra does rapping at one of the places, right, Casey? If I'm not wrong, Jeff Serra will rap a car or make decals and stuff like that. In motion solutions. So I feel like Robert might work over on that crew. And if that's the case, he is around a real good teacher on top of that.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a person that I feel like Jeff's in a really weird spot, because he's not young, but he's not old, and he gets forgotten about in that young guns category because he's more middle-aged guns or whatever. But obviously, everybody knows Jeff Serra is one of the best to ever do it. Won a race in a Mustang at the Spring Fling, won the warm-up race, the 15K, and then goes to Farmington and gets in Dukes's Chevy 2, the one that Sean drove a lot, his little brother, wins a 25 grander over there. So, I mean, you want to talk about a well-rounded racer, somebody who can do it in anything? Dude, Jeff Serra's won everything there is to win, and it doesn't matter what he's in. He's in a back half door car, wins. He's in a dragster, he wins. He's in a door car, he wins. I mean, Jeff Serra just wins. That is what it is.
Yeah, man, and I think he is the one behind his brother's race as well. In memory of, you know what I mean, the Sean Serra Memorial race there. So he's got a promoter's hat on too, which is awesome. I mean, again, racers trying to give back to racers, but definitely for a good cause on this one, man. So shouts out to everybody over there. And again, another promoter that stepped into the game. We need as many as we can get at this point. So, yeah, Casey, again, the Fling, you can't say, there's nothing really more to report about a Spring Fling bracket races event except for Bravo. I mean, they're always good. You never hear a lot of lag or a lot of drag going on, and it's really good to see that happen out there a lot.
And I would say, more importantly, anytime there's a bad forecast, the thing we always say is, luckily it's Fling Week. Why do we say that? It's because Look at the Bristol forecast last year. Dude, there's a hurricane hitting Bristol, Tennessee. Are you serious? Like, how's that even happen? But they still get it done. They still get it done. And so this whole week, during the fling, a couple of weeks ago, everybody kept saying, man, the weather doesn't look good. The weather doesn't look good. Everybody's answer, I would always say, luckily it's the fling. Luckily, Peter Biondo's in charge, because if anybody can get it done, it is him and his crew. Not just Peter, his entire crew. Just like if he was on here right now, he would say it's not just him. But they can get it done. And if anybody is going to have a bad weather forecast and have a great event, it's going to be spring fling bracket races. It always is.
That's right, man. That's right. So, yeah, that was that, man. I got one I'm going to throw at you, too, man. And it's kind of an interesting topic I've learned about. I didn't get a chance to get out there this past weekend out at Old Ardmore Dragway for their, it's either the oil pastures, the cow patties. Anyway, it was 10 grand. That's all I know. 10 grand to win. And Saturdays are just not always the easiest for old George. You know, the wife sometimes has to work where I'll have my boys. They're almost there to where I could take them to the track alone and trust that they will take care of themselves out there, but just not quite. So I really got to have my wife there with me, and so I missed out on a 10 grander right here locally, and apologies for not being there to support, But one thing that I heard loud and clear, which I will say that I was pretty impressed with, and I expect to hear it kind of ring its sounds throughout tracks in the area, especially in lieu of things that we know accidents occur on the racetrack. People being turned around for not having their safety gear on, Casey. Stopped at the starting line at that, man. So figured I'd bring that up. I know it's impromptu, Casey. We do that every time we have an episode of GBR, as nothing is scripted here. What are your thoughts on that, man? I know we show up to a track and you hear the announcer say, hey, we're going to be checking those safety gear tight. You roll up there without your neck collar, well, what you expect? What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with it, man. There's no reason for it, and I would say more so than anything, everybody always said to each his own. In fact, my big thing I've always said, I don't care what you're doing, because as long as it doesn't affect me negatively, it doesn't affect me. Well, it does affect me, because it's interesting you say that, because I may have sent a video to you. This was a no prep race, but there was a no prep race. This dude might have even been running KC Max, which if that's the case, it wasn't KC Max. It was a guy who was running him in the other lane. That means that would have been some big time. I've seen that dude run 170 mile an hour on no prep. So it's fast is my point. Dude hits the wall, starts barrel rolling, and a helmet flies out of the car. And I don't know what happened to the guy. I hope he's okay or whatever. I assume probably he got hurt. Mm-hmm. If he didn't, then you better be thanking the man, because that's the only person who saved you right there. But at the end of the day, how's your helmet fly off, man? What are we doing? What are we doing here? Like, there's just no reason for it. But my overall point is, we have lots of junior dragster kids. At the very minimum, we have people's kids there. They all want to be like you. Somebody at the racetrack, they think that's the man. They think that dude's cool. I want to be like him. You can't even fasten your helmet. You can't wear your arm restraints. Like, this is all stuff you have. I'm sure you have it in the trailer, because at some point someone's going to try to call you on it. Just like every single dragster driver out there that's running in blue jeans, they all have fire pants in the trailer, every single one of them, because they know that every dragster out there is fast enough. I don't care if you have a small block, and I don't care if you go 580s. You're fast enough, you're supposed to have fire pants. So why don't you have them on? You have them with you. I can tell you for a fact that they are cooler than denim jeans. I know that. I personally know that.
Yep.
So there's literally no reason not to have them on. You own them. There's no sense in it. And I'm glad that somebody is finally enforcing it, because I feel like a lot of the younger guys, it's cool to do things certain ways. But it's not, man. It's not cool to racing a t-shirt. It's not cool to not wear fire pants if you're supposed to wear fire pants. Like it's literally not. Nobody cares. Nobody thinks you're cool because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Right. That's right.
We're not in high school.
You can pull up in your Crocs if you want to. Honestly, I think the one that looks the most cool is the one that's in full out gear in the first place. For instance, I saw old Drag Champ Jr. at the racetrack out at XRP, and he was doing pretty good too. Kid gets out, he's got boots on, he's got a decked out fire suit that say Drag Champ on it. His swag is just, I'm a racer.
I can tell you.
I don't understand how people don't get into that a little bit more. Like myself, I wear some tennis shoes right now in Mo, and the only reason I wear tennis shoes is because I don't know what pair of shoes I'm gonna buy yet. And they fell apart.
Not the same.
That's all.
That's not the same. I can tell you one thing that's not cool. That guy I was just talking about, and I'm sure everybody listening to this show has seen the video I'm talking about. It's a Mustang with a black door on it. Literally just happened last weekend, I feel like. Barrel rolling out through there, has no window net. The reason you're supposed to have a window net in a race car at a certain speed is because when it starts barrel rolling, your arm flies out of the car. And I saw this dude's arm flying out of the car. And I'm telling you right now, if that dude even has an arm right now, that he's incredibly lucky that he even has an arm, because it probably got cut off. And and that's stupid too, because like, dude, the Chevelle, that thing's like sitting in an airplane cockpit, and having a window net in there does not affect me. The window net goes literally down to my knees. Like, that's how far it is. That's how far in your car you are. I've driven lots and lots of door cars, and I can tell you a window net does not obscure your view like everybody acts like it does. Sure. Like, I mean, it just doesn't. I've driven like 15 different race cars. I counted them up the other day. I've driven like 15 different styles of race cars, and I can tell you the safety equipment has never inhibited your ability to see. The only thing I could see people justifying would be the Hans device of enabling you to look 90 degrees. But you just need to get used to that, because if you're fast enough to need to use one of those, the reason you need to use one is because, again, like we talked about the other day, Dale Earnhardt died because of that. I mean, that's a fact, 100% fact. There have been many drivers that have died because they didn't have that. Most of us don't go over 150 miles an hour. No big deal. All of us 8th mile racers, if you're below 460, then you probably don't go 150 miles an hour, unless you're a door car or something. But if you're doing that, then you probably got one anyway.
Sure, man. So, now I figured I'd call that out. It's new, something that you might not be used to, but you might as well take the warning now. Expect to see a little bit of a crackdown in some areas. I'm not for sure how far this will stretch, but man, you better have your gear with you. You pull up in the second round or third round, and because you don't have gloves on, the starter turns you around. Don't go off on the starter, because that's not his fault. That's all I'm saying.
One thing that I do agree with, we believe NHRA overreaches on a lot of this stuff, like 2-year seatbelt rule. You'll never convince me that that's a good thing. In fact, we talked to Fuel Tech at PRI a couple years ago, and they said Formula One, of all things, 5 years. Formula One, the highest form of motorsports, no one will argue with. Formula One is allowed to have those same seatbelts that we all run for 5 years. So, that being said, the one thing that I do agree with is NHRA requiring the junior kids to have Hans devices. It's not because they need them for safety, but it's making the kids realize that they've always ran this, so why wouldn't they run it?
Right.
Why wouldn't they be safe?
Yeah, I like it too, man. It's just one of those things that it becomes so repetitious to put that on inside of your routine.
Yeah,
that
it doesn't matter.
Your safety's just that much better because, hey, I've always done that. You know what I mean? But hey, my man, old Tom Worthington's right, Casey, man. We better get on off into that old marketing partnership segment of our show. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the game plan. I bet you all are like, what the heck does George mean and Casey mean about the game plan? But you'll like this one, I think. Don't go anywhere. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that share button. And we'll be back with more Going Bracket Racing. Don't go anywhere.
When you're in need, don't settle for less. Pro Auto Parts, you've chosen the best. With all the building tools, we take the lead.
BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts are able to provide you with whatever you desire to enhance your drag racing operation. Items like safety belt magnets, nitrous bottle holders, and even quick release delay box mounts are able to be obtained from BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts. Have a look at top selling items such as helmet hooks and steering wheel hooks, which are proven to make it easier to maneuver throughout your race car. You can contact BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts at telephone number 765-729-1177.
Proform wedge locking header bolts are the last set of header bolts you'll ever need. Each bolt comes pre-assembled with a pair of special locking washers. Wedge locking header bolts are manufactured with grade 8 steel and come in 1 inch and 3/4 inch lengths.
All right. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Going Bracket Racing. My voice probably sounds a little different. I've been battling a cold for a few days, so if you see me mute the mic and start coughing, you just say thanks I muted the mic because you don't want to hear all that. But Syntex Printing, Ken Jones Performance, TSR Racing Products, Crew Chief Pro, Driven Racing Oil, 8th Mile Apparel, Gearhead Racing Solution, Team 14 Motorsports, BRG Motorsports, 3D printed parts, Proform parts. Those boys over at Your Ad here. Thank you guys for everybody for being part of the Going Bracket Racing community. Those boys at Your Ad here, keep up the good work. You always seem to give some serious customer service to the racer, to the marketing partner, and the connection of both. So keep up the good work. That's to George and Casey. If you would like your product to be displayed on the Going Bracket Racing podcast, feel free to hit us up at goingbracketracing@gmail.com. You can call me, but I'm not going to put my cell phone number over the airwaves. Feel free to find Casey or myself on Facebook. Whatever you feel like doing. I almost did the Mike Jones. I just can't remember his cell phone number right off the top of my head. I can't believe I can't remember that. But anyway, Casey, man, we come back. We might as well get off into the meat of the conversation here because Spring Fling gave us something. A lot of tracks actually give us something. Let's put it that way on the big money scale. George is having a good day. Casey's having a good day. We're down to what we all know as the split round. It's game plan time. Well, what's the game plan, Casey? We going into it. It's split round. And what are we expecting to happen? Because sometimes what we expect doesn't always happen. But we'll get off into that. Casey, what's your game plan if you get to the split?
Number one game plan is obviously covering the tab. That's number one. Number two, which I'm sure everybody knows this by now, I'm not 100% certain who was the no in it, but the last day of the fling, if you lost at 5 cars, you got $1,500 or $2,000, like the flyer said. On one hand, everybody knew what they were in for. You knew this entry fee paid this structure, period. If you want to split it, that's fine. Now, I would also say that the vast majority of people would suspect 99% of the time it's not going to be structured the way the flyer says. It's going to be manipulated in some way, shape, or form. I don't know, man. It is very unlikely. I feel like it's only happened a handful of times over all these years. Like, I bet you there's only really been in big money racing, probably in the last even 20 years, there's maybe been 10 or 15 no split finals that have ever happened. So it is super unlikely. Like, I mean, I would say 95% of the time, bare minimum, it's going to get split. And the two guys in the final obviously split it. They were fine with it. Maybe in the semis, they split it a little bit more. But ultimately, I don't think that the people who say no split understand what they're really doing. I don't think they understand that there's 2 or 3 guys that are never going to come back because of that. And it might not even be people who are involved in that. It might be people who are like, Man, you're telling me I could win 7 or 8 rounds at one of the most difficult, through one of the most difficult fields. Like everybody knows, spring fling bracket race is one of the hardest races to win. That's why it holds so much water when you say, I've won a race at the spring fling, be it a warm-up, be it a shootout, be it a gambler's race, be it anything. It holds so much water because you're going through the best of the best every single time. But I mean, there's 3 or 4 guys not going to come back just because that happened. Because if you get down and you win 7 or 8 rounds at the spring fling, and that's if you're single, because if you're doubled, you might have won 12, 13, something like that to get there. And you can't even cover your tab if you had to buy back all weekend. I mean, that's just, again, like I started the whole thought process with, the flyer's the flyer. No one expects to run that.
No,
Nobody.
No. And I agree with that 100% too, Casey, because if I show up to a race, especially a fling, especially a big money, like the big go, one of the big ones, and I'm talking like 50 grand ain't much, but let's just put 100 grand up there, okay? Potential in the split round to be walking away with $5,000-$6,000. You know what I mean?
Right.
To walking away with a few hundred and not paying
Still
my tab.
losing money.
Yeah.
Still losing money.
You know,
That's crazy.
I know that's we all signed up for it. You know, it's part of the game. It's not guaranteed, but the split round is becoming just as important as courtesy staging right now. You don't go in and just light everybody up. So why are we not splitting? What's the deal here?
Well,
And again, Casey, I'm agreeing with you in a sense too, because that every single time we do that, you can probably see somebody just checking, yep, not coming back to that one, or there's a sour taste in that person's mouth. They've just sometimes gone as far as they've gone in a race car. Bob Murphy won his first race and it was a 50 grander. Okay, not everybody has that story. As a matter of fact, I think you and I were talking yesterday or the day before. The majority of people ain't won a race yet. Period. Okay, so
right.
To be at the later rounds of the split, everybody knows it's the split. It's publicized as the split. There's probably a camera floating around there somewhere. And not actually split. Man, that's like hitting a golf ball into a group of 5 100 yards away from you and not saying 4. That's all I got.
Well, ultimately, again, you know what you signed up for. You also know that 99% of people expected to split. If you didn't have the one person there, it would have split. Peter Biondo even said that he couldn't believe it whenever he was interviewing Fulcher and Dustin Smiley in the finals. He said, man, this is the most money I've ever seen in the finals of one of these particular races,
Right.
At his personal races. But, it is what it is, because on one hand, obviously the promoter can't force anything because that's grounds to getting sued, first of all. Second of all, you got to do, it depends on who's there. But ultimately, again, I just go back to the fact that the people who say no split, they don't understand they're dwindling away the people who are going to come back. And you can't run those type of races without 300, 400 cars. It's not possible, not affordably. If you want to run for that type of money with a few cars, just run like the 20 grand shootout that costs $1,000 to enter. Run stuff like that. No split that's fine, because anybody who can afford $1,000 entry, they're fine with no splitting more than likely.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have the money to enter stuff like that. Run dragster shootouts. Run stuff for big time money. Honestly, I'm surprised that we've never seen bracket racers start grudge racing. I guarantee you the spring fling, if you wanted to put up 10 grand on a one-run grudge race in a gambler's deal during that downtime, why wouldn't they run that while the track is down and they're waiting for the 5 cars to turn it around that just came? Because there's going to be a half hour right there. I'm sure if you say Gary Williams and Jeff Serra want to put up 10 grand, Overkill and Dukes want to put up 10 grand a piece or 5 grand a piece, winner take all, for a grudge race between Gary Williams and Jeff Serra, Peter Biondo is going to say, put it right here, right now.
Right now, right here. It's on my live stream. My crew's covering it. And you heard it here first. I'm going bracket racing because that is one heck of an idea. That's all I got,
Yeah.
man. While you're back there splitting, we can have 5 call-outs.
Yeah.
So that's just 5 laps down the track, y'all.
Dude,
That's
that would
it.
be so
That's
much.
it. That would
That would be
bring
so
a lot of
publicity.
publicity
Because
to our sport.
if you, yes, because to be honest with you, that's one thing that bracket racing has never thought of yet, is just grudge racing people during a bracket race, because everybody who talks a bunch of crap on bracket racers and stuff, they're usually grudge racers and heads up racers, and they respect the fact of someone putting their money up saying, I'm better than you, and they don't care how you win the money. They care that you won the money.
Right.
And I'm telling you, man, there's people out there that throw that out. I guarantee you, Okie dokie, he'd be all about that.
I bet it too, man. I do. I bet it. And Dukes would be too. Both of them would be, I think. And
Westbury would probably do it.
I agree. Let me grab this comment, because I think this is I think there's some good stuff going on this YouTube side of things. Let's see. Drag drive repeat for promoters. Would it be better to pay more further back instead of big winner purse? That's a great question. I think we've tried it.
Yeah.
I want to say
there's
SFG
several.
definitely tried it when they were here and promoting races where they would have the no split nationals. I'm not 100% how well participated or how well traveled those races are. Somebody would have to correct me because, as a matter of fact, I'm not even going to speak on it because I don't have the right info. But we've definitely tried that, playing back further where, hey, yeah, 75,000 to win up top with 30,000 to win at the semis and 20,000. I don't know.
Well, the only people who have successfully done it are Brian and Tyler TV Promotions at
Brian and
Kipcare, I
Ty-
think.
Brian
They're
and
the only
Tyler.
ones that, yeah, they had their big shootout, and it was going to be 50 grand to win or whatever, and then it ended up being 125. And then, see, that's the thing though, is Brian and Tyler, they're racers, and they've won at the highest levels. And they said it was basically just like a split would look like. They didn't stack it all up top. They could have, and that was in the time where, you know, everybody was wanting to pay the most, and they were young guys, and they were a new promotional company, and if they paid the most, they would have got probably more publicity. But they did what was right by the racers and just basically structured it like, okay, if we're paying, say, 250 to win, we're paying 125 to runner up, we're paying whatever half of that is to semi, 67.5, whatever, on it, so on and so forth. I don't know what the numbers were. I'm just saying hypothetically. I could have picked better numbers, I guess, to make that a little bit easier, but facts, they are the facts. But yeah, people have tried that multiple times. A lot of different programs. I know Loose Rocker, I think, tried it. SFG tried it. Several people have tried it over the years, and it's been generally unsuccessful because people want to win the $50,000 big check, even though we all know that most of the time that $50,000 big check really means maybe 25.
Yeah, it's not 50 in the first place. One thing I think, and there's more comments in here, Drag Drive Repeat, Tom Worth, then they're kind of making a pretty good conversation over here on the YouTube side. But so if you guys aren't subscribed to the YouTube, I know you can't see both of our chats. I'll do the best I can to pull it in here so the Facebook viewership, the podcast listeners can understand. But a lot of people do want to race for that top number on the flyer, Casey. But at the same time, if the promoter's paying out a certain amount of money, you can say, hey, I'm paying out for over $400,000 in prizes at the top, and still accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. So yes, it'll take a little bit of rewording, maybe, to keep the flyer big money friendly. But in the end of the day, we're still paying quite a bit of money there. So I'd like to see it a little bit more. But again, going back to the conversation, it is drag racing etiquette right now. And I think if we took a survey, that it would come out the same way, that the split round is just as important as courtesy staging. Everybody expects the split. Everybody talks about getting to the split. The split is a facet of big money racing as it is there.
Some of the splits can legitimately change people's lives. I mean, that's the thing, is that if you get to a split round in an extremely big race, first of all, most of the time, someone who says no split, it's because the money's irrelevant to them. They just want to say, I want a no split race.
Right.
But the thing is the other typically, let's say it's down to 16, because we all know a split would usually happen at 16 cars, depending on how big it is, but typically it's 16 cars. 15 of those guys want to split. One typically won't in these scenarios. The one guy who doesn't want to split typically has a stacker trailer, a show hauler, $100,000 race car. Money doesn't mean anything to them. They just want to win the race for the prestige, which is what it is, because again, we're all racing for the flyer. But if those other guys don't keep showing up, you don't even have the opportunity to do that anymore, because that race isn't going to happen anymore. So you're slowly, by you doing that, that's fine and dandy if that's your capstone, but at the end of the day, you're hurting the thing that you want to do and your chances to win that in the future, because that isn't going to last unless you have all those entries. And there's a lot of guys who get pissed off because of that and they don't show back up. So you're killing it. I mean, you are killing it in an aspect, because if this wasn't a big deal, we wouldn't even be talking about it right now if we didn't think other people believed us. And if we think it, then other people think it. That's how the world works.
Here's the case in point. I've never been to a split round. A lot of people on here is going to be able to say they've never been to a split round. But I have a game plan if I was to go to the split round, which is what this show is all about. Casey, man, you here? Oh, you there? Go handle the split. Don't tell me nothing, Casey. I don't want to know what's on the top. I don't want to know what's on the bottom. I don't know what I'm racing for right now. I don't want to know nothing. Don't tell me nothing about cash. Not everybody has that same mentality when it comes to split racing. But everybody has either thought about or pondered what would I want to happen if I do make it to the split round. My dad's there. I'm sending my dad. If I see Corey Galitti over in the corner, hey, Corey, come over here real quick, man. Go handle this split for me. I trust whatever you do. You've been in enough splits. Go handle this split for me, but don't tell me nothing. Period. I feel like the difference in between changing my heart rate just a little bit is the difference in between me being 7th hour red. I've proved it more than once. I proved it. So I got to get off the dang 7th hour red number. But anyway, what are your thoughts, Casey? Because everybody, I almost feel like everybody, it's almost like going 3-2-1 and shooting a buzzer beater. That don't just happen in the final round. That happens in the round before the split too. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. You had to put yourself in the position to even be in the position to be pissed off that there was no split.
There's no split. That's right, man. So, nah, man, Casey, that was a pretty interesting thought I think we had. I don't think we've talked about it much. We may have talked about it on a previous GBR stream as something that, you go into a race, you get on one of those benders, you better have a game plan getting down to that split zone. A lot of people don't even have the know-how, and that includes me, to split. So, but another thing that's, before we get out of here, it's crazy how fast we come up on an hour, Casey. Q-Care got bought by IHRA, and might I say that I'm shocked? No, I'm not shocked. Might I say I'm shocked that IHRA bought a lot? No, Casey, I don't even think you're shocked. National all these Milan National track, aren't those the tracks that we mentioned a long time ago that got bought? Or better yet, didn't we drop a post that say IHRA leadership was changing pretty heavily about a week and a half ago, and then here comes some articles that say, oh man, IHRA leadership's changed. Thank you guys for watching all that stuff, man, and special shout out to everybody who kind of keeps me in the know, keeps Casey in the know with some of the stuff that's coming down the pipeline before a lot of people even get wind of it. Casey, let's talk about IHRA real quick, man, at the very last couple little bits of the show. Fear going on. Run with that thought. Yeah. There's a lot of fear behind this. I've heard anywhere from Walmart's getting open, Starbucks leveling it to put all kind of stuff. Let's start there.
Well, just to because Galat's right down the street from me, so I'm obviously incredibly familiar with that place. I frequent that facility, most weekends in the summers. And number one, I guess first and foremost, everybody's so worried about this guy, and I'm not saying he won't. I'm just saying, in a business mindset, that it makes no sense to purchase IHRA for a couple $1 million or whatever he paid for it whenever he could have just started an LLC in North Carolina for like $225 or whatever, started a brand new organization and bought it anyway, because everybody's main thing is they're saying, well, he had to buy HRA to be able to pretend that he's going to buy these tracks. That's number one. That's incredibly stupid to pay $2 million for something, inevitably to kill it, and then to kill all these racetracks. Number two, there are plenty of vacant fields around Gallant Motorsports Park that are much closer to the interstate, and there's a lot of vacant buildings in Benson and Dunn that you could put your warehouse facility right off the interstate. So that makes no sense. Just, you know, everybody's always worried because obviously the unknown, that's what everybody's worried about. But ultimately, there are too many things that make no sense. And I would say the thing that makes no sense is Gallant Motorsports Park, one place that I'm familiar with. I'm not familiar with the rest of these facilities that he bought, other than if he supposedly bought Darlington or not, I'm not sure. That road, do you realize how many roads that, or how many fields and how many family properties that road cuts across? You can't run semis out of that place. You can't. You would have to build an entire new road, and it's all twisty and turny. It's not so bad the other direction, but it definitely would have to be updated. You can't eminent domain. It's too much of a big ordeal to eminent domain all this stuff to widen the road and in the middle of nowhere, because it's not in the middle of nowhere, but it also is at the same time. It's just too difficult. It's too difficult to do it that way when it would have been so much easier to do it a different way. And why buy one of the premier tracks in all of North Carolina, with the exception of Charlotte? In North Carolina, that's the premier track. It's all brand new stuff. Why would you buy that track? It would be too expensive to buy that track just to demo it. And everybody's like, oh, Amazon pays a lot of money. Yes, they do pay a lot of money, but you would have had a lot more ROI by buying a field across the street. Like, it makes no sense. So I don't know, man. I just don't like seeing the negativity, because the question I have for everybody is, why do you not want them to succeed? Because we all know NHRA has stepped on us for the last 20, 25 years. That's a fact. The last good sportsman series there's ever been was when IHRA was there. Why do you not want to look forward and hope for the best? Because if you keep cutting it down, there's a very good chance this dude, to have the money to do it, first of all, is almost impossible. To have the want to do it is even more impossible. Yep. And you have that guy all in one. And I don't know this guy. He might be exactly what you say he is. He might be exactly what all these people are saying he is. But what if he's not? Because this is our last opportunity to have a viable organization that can have the money and the backing to compete with NHRA.
That's right. That's right. And what you just said, and that's what I like about this whole, it's a drama right now, and I don't mind drama. I don't mind it at all. I'm going to do the best that I can to report things that aren't full of it and full of drama. But a little bit of competition ain't never hurt nobody. I'm sure NHRA is looking like, oh shoot, some competition. Let's go. You're gonna push them harder too. Let's not get it twisted. Case in point, you're gonna watch some of these bracket finals get a whole lot better. Watch it. The bracket finals events are going to get better. I won't even be shocked if those events become live streamed. You see maybe some racer appreciation. A lot of stuff is going to happen there, man. That's what I'm here to tell you.
And I'll tell you one thing too that maybe people will agree with, and maybe they won't. To each his own. But I think IHRA's very next person they need to call right now that can make them successful is they need to call Wes Buck and make him the CEO of IHRA, because everything he turns to gold. You guys can think positively today. He has shown himself 5 or 7 years. I want to say World Series of Pro Mod has been a big deal. It's a very prestigious race. That's a pro-level race with pro-level drivers, guys like Stevie Jackson, Lyle Barnett, people who run the NHRA stuff. I think he has a heavy hand with flow. He just started this year doing the Drag Illustrated Winter Series, which is a 3-race series. So he's shown that he can promote event after event consistently and get the car count and have 60, 70 cars show up for a 32 car field. I mean, that's their OG million in our terms. That's their thing, is winning the World Series of Pro Mod. Call Wes Buck. He has the connections it needs. He understands social media. That's a very big thing. All these guys that these people are employing are older people. And I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing, but I am saying Wes Buck has like 390 something podcast episodes. His entire job is, in his entire staff and his entire everything is based around social media and a magazine, which what's NHRA? NHRA is a TV series in National Dragster. There's Drag Illustrated. Wes already has an established social media following that already follows him enough to create the Drag Illustrated Winter Series. IHRA, this is the easiest thing ever.
This is a layup.
If you want to be a pro.
It's a layup. This is not even a free throw, man. This is easier. This is a layup in warm-ups of a game. And if you miss a nose, I promise you ain't taking your warm-up off for the whole basketball game. You're going to be on the oak, the pine, the wood, whatever you want to call it, over there next to coach, looking up, trying to get in the game, and just sitting there until the final horn. Wes Buck would be the almost automatic choice at this point, Casey, with the level of not just ties, his thought process going into these things, how he's getting people to show up to these races. This seems to be something. And at the same time, I really think that Wes Buck is a pretty smart guy. And the first question that he might ask someone who owns IHRA would be, what is your vision? Because I feel like that question, either the answer to that question has changed, where he's moved the goalpost 10 times. You kick a field goal and he just grabbed the post and just pull it this way and you miss. And then he grabs it and pulls it that way and you missed again. But the question that still is nobody knows the answer, obviously, because he's been through at least a couple CEOs right now. What are you wanting to do with the IHRA? What's the plan? Are we going nitro racing? Are we going pro mod racing? Are we jet karting it? Are we putting people in the stands? Because I can tell you right now, you have a 32 car shootout of pro mods with $100,000 on the top. I promise you'll get a lot of people to come show up for that, and then throw a $100,000 bracket race right behind the side of it and watch what happens. You'll pack the house on your bracket race, and you'll pack the house on your pro mods. Just say what time the pro mods are coming out. Get them out there a little early so these people can start loving bracket racing like they need to again, and then gamble on bracket racing, and then have you a show. And I promise you, this game is going to get way easier. But man, this is not chess, it's checkers. This doesn't take 1,000 moves to figure out here.
Yeah, just what are we doing? What's the plan? Just say, this is what we're doing in 2026. This is what we want to accomplish. Because right now, there are too many people that are saying, what are we doing? Should I renew my IHRA license? What happens to the bracket finals that are WDRA bracket finals are supposed to be at Galat this year? There's plenty of people asking us, what's this? What's that? What are we doing? I just bought this license. Is it even good? What am I supposed to do? Why should I renew my IHRA license? I'm one of those people, to be honest with you. I have an IHRA license that's literally up in a couple weeks. Why should I renew it right now, other than the fact that this guy supposedly purchased Galat, which I think is a done deal and everything. People have said that are in the know that it is in fact a done deal. Yeah. But it's like, but why though? Like, why do I need to? Because what is in it for me to do that? Like, what are you going to have where I need this? That's what I don't understand. Everybody just wants to know what the plan is. They don't need to know when it's going to happen. Just what's a plan?
We don't even care if it's 2026. And I think that's another thing. Wise men say if you take the temperature of the audience, then you'll know what you need to be doing in the first place. And I feel like you got to have the audience. One thing I thought was that maybe this guy is a pro mod racer. I've been looking all over the internet for some type of footage. This is 2025. If you drive a pro mod, It's at least 3 GoPros on that Pro Mod. All I gotta tell you, and it's getting uploaded somewhere for somebody to be able to watch it, and I haven't seen an ounce of it. So, are you a Pro Mod driver or do you own a Pro Mod team? Starting right there. Let's talk to you. Who are you? Introduce yourself. Yeah, you don't have to be out here long, but say hey, say what's up. Turn on your phone, get on live, and say, what's up, drag racing world? This is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I'm about to bring to drag racing. And hang up the phone after that.
And I've heard people say, now it's turned into he's a Pro Mod driver, and they've turned it into, oh no, he's just a Pro Mod owner, and now they're all scared again. And I said, well, do you realize that the most successful team that's ever existed in NASCAR is owned by Rick Hendrick, who I'm pretty sure has never been in a race car, period? Hendrick Motorsports is literally the most successful NASCAR team that has existed ever, and still is, and has had Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion. I don't know, 5 championships or whatever with Gordon. It just goes on and on. I don't know how many he's had, but the point is everything he's ever done's been successful, and he's never been a racer. So that's all irrelevant. The fact is he likes racing, and he helped NASCAR become successful.
Right.
So even if this guy is only a car owner, it doesn't matter because he's interested in racing, and he could make it successful just like everybody else has. But ultimately, everybody needs to be more positive, because there is no reason to want somebody to fail.
Casey, pause on us. Hold on.
Think about well, number one.
Hold on, Casey. Hold on. You paused on us just for a second. Hold on. You were saying nobody wants to see somebody else fail. Your sound's coming back here just a second, but I wanted you to get that part out. So that's why I stopped you. Hold on. Say something.
Well,
go.
You hear me?
Yep.
There's no reason to want the guy to fail, because this is our last chance. This is our last chance to have someone who has the money and the backing and the want to make this better. So everybody needs to get behind it, in my mind. Not necessarily because you believe the guy. I don't care if you believe him or not, but there's literally no reason to. I feel like there's too many people focusing on the fact that they almost want him to fail. Why do you want him to fail? Because if he fails, we're all screwed. Then we have a monopoly again. And the reason why they created this anti-monopolistic act in the United States government is because when you have a monopoly, the people can do whatever they want, charge whatever they want. They can screw everybody if they want to. That's the reason why that exists. So if you have somebody who has the money and the want and the ability to compete at a level of NHRA, which is nearly impossible because NHRA has been around so long and they have all the namesakes. Like you and I, we've talked to marketing partners before, and they flat out said, if you're not running NHRA, we don't care. Even though you can give us more publicity with your show and stuff, they don't care, because they want you to be running NHRA and get that one little blurb in National Drag Show because of the prestige, and they can say, they did this. Doesn't matter if you lose or not. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't get, is that they don't understand the level of publicity that you can give somebody without that. But this is another opportunity for everybody who's not over there to be over here and have just as much publicity.
Yep. Now, in the grand scheme of things, too, you pretty well closed it up. And right before we get out of here, I just want to reiterate. We don't have to. You don't have to like it. What's happening in all the tracks are being purchased up. It's only like 4 or 5 of them right now, anyway.
Right.
You could have your fear factor of, well, what if this happens? Well, what if that happens? You can have all of that. I don't really want to take any of that away from you. That's just kind of a discernment and a level of preparation for yourself. You're not going to get shocked if it does happen, right? But all that being said, stop it with the bashing, guys. Okay, man, let this guy cook. You hadn't even tried his food yet, and you already think it's nasty. You sound like my child. All right, now I'm not bashing anybody on this thing, but that's how it is to give kid green beans for the first time. I don't like those, but you never had them before. So, man, that's the best thing I can do is put out there sit back and watch just like everybody else. Come over here on Going Bracket Racing to vent with us. You know, we can at least structure it and put it into a statement or idea segment to where maybe there's some ears to the ground. Maybe there's a few ears on the pavement or in the rocks or in the gravel or in a sand pit that is trying not to sink into quicksand. Whatever the case may be, maybe a few of these ideas could be the exact kick that the goalpost didn't get moved on, and it goes through the uprights. And we better than 3, man. They giving us 100 points for a field goal of this magnitude. So, Casey, man, it needed to have been said. I know that the musical chairs is getting old. It's interesting still because everybody's still watching. I don't care what nobody says. Everybody is watching the musical chairs going on at IHRA. But man, just keep watching and stop it with the negativity. That's it. That's it, man. We can all be all good. We're gonna be drag racing, bracket racing regardless. Okay? We especially gonna be bracket racing because our promoters are taking care of us hands down. And I'll show some flyers out here before we get up out of here. Don't think I forgot about you. Casey, what you got in closing, man?
You pretty much said it all, man. Sorry it's been so long since we came back to y'all, but we're gonna try to make it a little bit more consistent over here. You know, I think we give some of the most episodes that anybody's ever gonna see every single year. Sorry to the marketing partners that we missed the last couple of weeks, but we're gonna get back on it. Unfortunately, there's been things we've had down motorhomes, we've had power outages. Right now, we're literally going from a cell phone right now because there's no internet at my house. So we try to do whatever we can to get to everybody. And we appreciate all you guys watching as always. Episode 192 of GBR. That's a cap on that. And we'll see y'all when, George.
We'll probably see you. No, we will see you next Tuesday. One thing I'm going to say. I haven't seen very many questions from the pits. We hit a real good hot point there for a little while. I want the questions from the pits segment to come back up. So if you got something you want to talk about, you got something you heard, you got something you need to know, our email, goingbracketracing@gmail.com. Send us an email, send us what you want to talk about, and you never know, your thoughts could be brought up on the next episode of Going Bracket Racing. So see you guys next Tuesday. Hang in there. Be safe if you're going drag racing. And good luck to everybody out there in St. Louis at the little TB Promotions Twin 50s. I wish I was there. That's all I got to say. See you guys later.